Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of another review of two episodes of The Acolyte because that's just, I guess, what we've done for the last few weeks. I'm Khalil, and I am joined by Shayla Brown, as I am every time we talk about the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Really good, actually. I really enjoyed that, I gotta say.
I was stressed out the whole time, but
Yeah. Well, before we get into that, actually, now I do have to address something because it would be, pretty bad of me if I didn't address this. And I don't know. I don't know if I told you yet. So this might be a surprise to you. Um, so the last last review we did actually uh, got a bunch of people watching it and a bunch of people talking about it.
did we? I didn't know.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are saying very mean things about us. So yeah,
I'm glad I didn't look.
yeah, no. I believe I was called some very mean words a few times. So um yeah, apparently liking a show makes us bad people. Did you know that?
Yay!
And then you know what's even funnier? So like
What?
these people, I was fighting with some of these people in the comments, right? And I told them, and I was like, hey, if you don't like my opinion, you know what you could do instead of hiding on your keyboard typing things? I will welcome you onto the show and you can talk. Oh, damn. Oh, she's back. Let's just put it back up.
Okay.
There you go. I was
Okay.
like, "Oh, did we lose you?" That's not gonna be good.
I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
and I don't know, but I told them you can come on the show and I'll talk and I'll argue with you face to face on this. And it's weird. None of the people who were actually yelling mean things at me actually took me up on that offer for some reason. I don't
Nobody
know
wants.
why. It's almost like they're scared. I'm just
Interesting.
saying. I told everyone in that comment section. One person did actually take me up on that offer. Not one of the people who was yelling, but someone who saw it. And I'm like, so I will have them on at some point soon, and I will have a nice, healthy discussion about why the Accolade is great and why they're wrong. However, again, for anyone who's watching this one, I am fully open to debating you on this topic because I will win. And if you're not scared and you don't want to hide behind your avatar and you want to do this, like anybody with any level of confidence in their opinions would, then I then all you have to do is go to at comic boys underscore on Instagram. Okay. Send a DM saying that you want to come on the show to talk about the Acolyte, and I will have you on. I have no issues with it. I will destroy every single one of them. Okay, cool. Now that PSA is out of the way, um, let's talk about the show.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
was
know
not
that was a
aware.
very aggressive way to start the episode, but
I was not
but
aware that we were receiving any kind of. I don't look at the comments on these, and I'm kind of glad that I don't, cause. Hmm.
this is the first one we've gotten a lot of comments of people saying that we're bad at, terrible at everything. But look, I'm happy if people keep watching it and disliking it, so I'm good at that. That makes me happy. So
Yeah.
I am good at
Keep
that.
giving Disney your money.
And people think we're getting paid by Disney, which hey Disney, if you're watching this, by the way, everyone already thinks it's true. How about you just give us some money and we'll just keep doing what we're doing now?
Yeah, please,
Because
Disney. I will. You can give me all the money, please. Just employ me as an actor, actually, because
yeah,
I do that
employ
for a
her and then
living.
pay me to say nice things about your stuff.
Yeah, we'll
There we
do
go.
that.
That's
But like, we are not being paid by Disney.
I wish I was. Trust me. If I was getting paid by Disney, saying nice things, this show would be even easier than it already is.
Yeah, yeah, me too. But we're not. We're just some. I mean, if we were being paid by Disney, do you think we would be at our houses, like sitting in our rooms doing this? We would be at a professional studio.
To be fair, I do have a professional studio. I could do this, but I'm not going
Yeah,
to
but like
because it's too
I
far
we
away.
wouldn't be doing this over like a Zoom like kind of thing.
To be fair, even if I was getting paid by Disney, we would still probably be doing it like this. I'm just saying.
Yeah, maybe, but like I don't know.
We would
People
do it
need to
more
use their
often
head.
though.
Yeah.
I think we would probably do one a week, minimal
Yeah.
if we're getting paid by Disney to do it. I will say that.
Yeah.
Um, Now, however, with that being said, with all of the first 5 minutes being about controversy. Oh yeah, and then also subscribe to the channel. And I mean, I don't know when the next Star Wars thing comes out, but when it does, whenever there's anything Star Wars related, I will just message you endlessly, and then we will come on, and then we will
Yeah.
talk about Star
I
Wars.
will be. I will be back. Because like we don't know when the
So
next thing's coming.
yeah. Also, the other thing I want to address from the comment section, I have like notes about what I wanted to address. I don't have to read it again. The Acolyte is not canceled. I don't know where people have gotten this idea from. This rumor that it was canceled started, I believe, before season 1 started filming. So no, they have not said it's canceled. For all we know, season 2 could be coming based on the fact that it's done decently well ratings wise. Based on what
Yeah.
we've heard, I
Yeah.
would expect the season 2 to be coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just nonsense, and it frustrates me endlessly. But we have to deal with it, unfortunately, because people are a little bit dumb. And by a
Yeah.
little bit, I mean a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the actual show now, because there's still we have 2 episodes to talk about. One of which was
Right.
like highly unrelated to everything, but also proved me right. And the other one was the most action-packed 49-ish minutes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The
My
last one, I mean.
goodness.
But now we will make everyone wait to hear our thoughts on the last one. Let's start with the less exciting episode, but was also weirdly still exciting, which is the episode before that. And I don't remember the names for any of these episodes, so you have to bear with me on that one.
Oh, I don't remember either. I don't even think the episode 8 had a title.
The
when
last
I
one
looked.
didn't. I'm trying to remember
Yeah.
what the one before it was, though. Let's see.
Something about truth. No, that sounds
Choice.
choice. Yes, we got there.
So now, I do have to say, I have to take my victory lap here, because I've given you all your victory laps whenever you say something right.
Mhm.
See, I was kind of correct about this, and so I'm going to take it as a win, which is how damn it, I don't remember how I was correct. I said something. I predicted something about how this episode was going to play out. Oh yeah, I said that they were going to be the ones who were responsible for killing everyone.
Yeah.
I did say that. There is proof. I technically I said I thought they used a bomb or something to make the fire seem bigger, but either way I was right. Look, I didn't have to know why or how they did it. Yeah, they used some magical force powers to do it. That's okay too. Still, I was right. She was clearly not responsible for it. We knew just from the way that the fire, like that they showed us the fire in the flashback initially, that she did not do it intentionally. And then it was even more clear, obviously, in the episode that she didn't do it intentionally. And by she, I mean May. So what did you think of how that played out? Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
I've been seeing a lot of people thinking that, oh, are the witches really dead? I would like to take this moment to clarify that the audio description does specify that they fall to the ground in a lifeless heap. The audio description is generally good at pointing out visual things that like may not be clear. So I think that they are dead. I think that's pretty clear.
No, they're not dead.
No, the ones in the common room who are casting the spell.
I don't know if that's true.
I think Mother Coral's alive.
Yeah, that's the one who's alive. Yeah.
The one who just straight up fucking disappeared into smoke? Yeah. She's alive. I think she's the one who's orchestrating this whole fucking thing.
Well, I don't know if you noticed this. I don't know if the audio description picked this up, but there was when they were leaving that planet, there was a little like some dark figure which which peeked its head out and had red eyes and all that. I'm pretty sure that was Mother Coral.
Interesting.
I don't know if the audio description picked that. It was right when they flew off to their home planet from the planet they were training on.
I think it might have, but I don't remember. It was a while ago.
Yeah. Well, no, this was in the most recent episode.
Oh, I thought people online were saying that was Darth Plagueis.
No, I think that's Mother Coral. I don't think that was Darth Plagueis.
Interesting. I wouldn't know about either of those things because I don't read much from Legends, so I don't like. I'm just here for
Well,
the
Mother
vibes.
Coral isn't from Legends. Mother Coral is just from the show. I
Yeah,
mean,
but I mean to the people who are saying that it's Darth Plagueis, I have no idea. Like,
I don't
I
know
don't.
why it would be. The rule of two is a thing. Like they're not going to break that thing. Like also, why would he be hiding in the shadows? Like I don't know that I don't like that. I don't buy that one.
I don't know. I don't know, and I can't have any sort of say on that because I don't fucking know who that is except from like the movie, which says nothing.
Well, he technically is Anakin's father from
Yeah,
what we can piece of
but
it.
like
Right, he did the Mother Coral thing, which is create a
yeah,
person out of nothing using the
yeah,
Force.
yeah, but like I don't like beyond that I know nothing. So
Yeah. Well, anyways, let's go back to the episode we were supposed to be talking about
right,
first, which is the one with the witches. Though I know the more boring one, but
it was
I think
important.
it was important. That's exactly. Now,
Yeah,
look, it turns out that your favorite character is a jerk. How do you feel?
I can't trust anyone in this show anymore. I
Yeah, your
can't
favorite
trust.
character is a jerk.
Yeah, everyone had something, and especially my favorite. I thought like after the end of that episode, I was like, okay, so he did something awful, but like, how does he feel about that something awful now? Does he feel regretful? No, no, he thinks he did the right thing, and I wanted to beat the shit out of him because how like can you justify killing their mother and thinking that it was the right thing, thinking that you were protecting her, even though that like you interpreted a culture that you don't know and you jumped and made a rash decision and you're still defending that? Like, come on.
Now, again, I want like I and look, it does actually it does give me great joy to do this, but once again, another thing I was kind of right about, by the way, which is Master Soul, kind of a dick, not gonna lie. He
Yeah,
really sucks.
yeah.
And look, he disobeyed everything. He's a bad Jedi, and he deserved exactly what happened to him. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of happy that he died in the way he died. I think he deserved it. I don't know if you're gonna push back on that one at all, but
I I wouldn't go as far to say he deserved that, but like I think that he would feel like he deserved that.
yeah, I think if anything, what happened afterwards is probably more the more kind of undeserved praise with Venestra and what she did. Like burning his body nicely and stuff.
Did she?
Yeah, she did the fire thing that they do for Jedi sometimes
Oh, I totally forgot.
at the end of the episode. And so I did. By the way, speaking of things, you were right. I know we're just kind of jumping around now. We were
Yeah.
supposed to talk to this one episode time. You were absolutely right about the thing, the Venestra, then her apprentice thing.
Yes, yes.
You did call that.
Interesting. I did.
And by the way, the other thing I was right about, just while we're continuing go through this list, I told you we were gonna get 2 of 3 answers. We got 2 of 3 answers.
Yes.
We did not. There's a lot about about I don't know what his actual name is, but the Sith or the bad Jedi.
Chimera?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if that's his name because
It is.
I mean that's his name when he's not an evil person. I don't know if that's his evil name.
I don't know.
I think he might have a different name. But yeah, again, like we saw what happened. Oh, and then you're right about Osha staying bad, I guess, or turning bad.
Yeah.
That was a little bit less clear at the time.
I think it's pretty damn clear now.
Now, okay, there's one more thing. Sorry, we got it. And again, I know we're jumping all over the place. I don't apologize at all, but in theory, I would apologize. There is an issue I have with this show. And so for everyone saying I'm just blindly loving everything, I did have one issue. I don't know how I feel about this seemingly ability to teleport
To
with the
what?
Force.
To
To
teleport?
teleport with the Force. Yeah. Because we see this Sith Lord, or this bad Jedi, continuously teleport. I don't like it. I I I think they need to explain it a little bit more. Like we just see him vanish, and like either through, like with the elevator scene where he's like, "Oh, that's not the only way," and then he just kind of just goes up by himself,
Mhm.
or when he's hiding from his old master.
Well, that part went totally over my head. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, he just kind of keeps vanishing, and and he doesn't even actually vanish. Right, that's the weird part. The camera always cuts away, and then he appears somewhere else. So they're like they don't even really ever. If I'm not mistaken, they don't ever really show us him vanishing. They just cut away from him, and then he's in a new spot. The implication, obviously, being that he vanished, right? Because otherwise, we would probably know how he got where he did.
I would just assume that he's really stealthy until they
I
actually
I
show
don't know.
him.
I feel like just because of the way he said that's not the only way when with the elevator really made me think that he's able to kind of teleport the Force.
Yeah, I don't remember that part.
And also we saw him kind of teleport in with the Force the first time we saw him,
Mhm.
right? Like he kind of just popped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Again, maybe it's stealth. I have a hunch it's a little bit more than that because I mean again, it's stuff like if he's trying to maintain his identity secret, there's two skills which he demonstrates he has, which I think we have. I don't think we've ever actually seen in this way. One of them makes sense and is brilliant in my mind of using. The other one is the teleportation, which I find, if it's true, to be a little bit odd.
Mhm.
You know what the first skill he uses, which is very cool, is
Which one?
the mind wipe.
Oh yeah, I don't think we've ever seen that before, have we?
I don't either. That's what I was saying. So I went back. I did a little bit of research because sometimes I do research for this. And I don't. And there have been a few mentions of it being possible, but in terms of like the main canon stuff, we haven't seen it. And I was thinking, I was like, it doesn't like if you can do the mind trick, right, and you can do you know the kind of manipulating the mind. If you can
Yeah.
also do the like pull the information out of someone's mind, usually the Force. I don't
Mhm.
see why you can't just erase information from their mind.
Yeah.
Like again, people. I don't know. People. I haven't looked if the internet's complaining about it, but I could see the internet complaining about it. But I don't think it makes that much sense to complain about it because it makes it
Yeah.
intuitively makes sense with what we've seen the Force do to people's minds. Right? We've
Yeah.
seen the Force be able to manipulate the mind, put images in the mind,
Yeah.
right? You know, take
It would it would
information
be
out of the mind. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that would be something which makes sense, and I think that's something that's cool that we're getting to see because that's like where it's like cool. This is skill which maybe they've lost over time, right? Because again,
Mhm.
with the Force, I feel like some of the way they're using the Force in the Star Wars and the way they've used it is it's kind of like this. There's these things you can do with the Force, right? But you have to like learn them. And then you become good at them, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not like oh you could just do all of these things. So it's like we even saw it with obviously we saw it between the prequels, the original trilogy. We saw it between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, right? And we
Yeah.
saw it even, and now we're seeing it with this show, which is like there's little things with the Force, which you're like, I've never seen someone do that before, and some of that's because they forget how to do it, right? Or no one
Yeah.
practices it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like as like the thing comes to my mind is like Ezra's kind of ability to communicate with animals, right?
Mhm.
We don't really see Jedi do that a lot, but it's also because it's not something necessarily that they've learned or really focused on doing, right?
Mhm.
We don't we things like the Luke, projecting himself. Again, it's not something we see often, but
No.
also because that's not like again, not every Jedi practices every kind of force trick, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
makes sense. Like, I think it makes sense that these Jedi are able to kind of do more with the Force because, again, they're not training to be soldiers. They have the time to kind of meditate, connect to the Force, and be able to kind of master some of these things.
Hmm.
I don't know. What do you think about all that? I know I just said a lot of words.
No, I think you're right. I think the Force is a very vast, and like what's wonderful about it is that like you can use it to do a versatile, like, millions of things. And obviously not everyone's going to know how to do every single thing in the Force, but it's a very versatile magic system where it's like, you know, you can do it to do this and you can do it to do that too. So like it makes sense that every person who wields the Force can interact and connect with it in a different way. And that's what I think is so cool about the High Republic era in general. Is like getting to see the versatility and how people interact with the Force. Like in the first book, Light of the Jedi, like it talked about how some hear it as like a song and some feel it like waves, and like even just like hearing the range of experiences with like how people feel the Force, it gives you insight that like the way that people use it is also going to be vastly different depending on who you are. And I just think that that's cool that we get to see that range.
Yeah, and I think, kind of build on that. I think in a weird way, and I think it was evident in the show probably more so than I've ever seen it. I think the ability to use a lightsaber is probably the worst it's ever been, just like from a skill perspective in this show. Again, not necessarily, and I don't think that's a bad thing on this show. I need to make that very clear. I think that's actually a good thing because,
Mhm.
again, when you think about where the Jedi are, they are not this warrior class, this warrior group, right? If
Mhm.
anything, some of the interactions toward the end of the show we make it very clear that that's the case. And
Yeah.
so I think the fact that we see some of these Jedi who look, frankly, not very skilled with the lightsaber, right? Like there were some, and I think, again, um, there was an amazing fight scene in this show again in this last episode,
Mhm.
right? With the two people who do know how to use a lightsaber,
Mhm.
and I think that you know that it's okay that not everyone can use a lightsaber really well because guess what? Again, not really something they were concerned about at the time, right?
Mhm.
At the time,
Mhm.
what they were they had more. They were not a warrior group, right? And that's why you see so much suspicion from the Senate because again, there is no level of um like again, it's not they're not getting ready for war,
Mhm.
right? They're getting ready to just kind of chill and protect the galaxy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know where you want to go from there,
No,
but
you're right. I like the Jedi, when we see them in the prequels, are at a time of war where like being good with a lightsaber was kind of like necessary and had to be everyone's niche. But in the High Republic era, where there are just thousands and thousands of Jedi, like you can have a different kind of thing to do. Like you don't have to use a lightsaber at all. Like you could probably just like be someone who uses the Force to like heal, or uses the Force to, um to help grow things, or to be a diplomat. Like there are so many
well, they were
different things that
peacekeepers.
yeah, there are so many things for a Jedi to do, and we just only have seen them in war, really.
Well, and again, that's kind of again, it's just to kind of keep beating, I guess, the dead horse, so to speak, at this point, but or the dead soul, so to speak, at this point. But I know. The thing is, like, when people say, "Oh, well, why can you kill people with? Why could Jedi be killed with like by like someone who's barely trained?" But again, I think that's part of it is because you know. Well, first of all, guilty as hell. In the show, the Jedi who died were guilty as hell. Second of all, the part of it is they aren't skilled necessarily. Like again, we probably maybe saw one extremely skilled Jedi, and she never really used her weapon,
Mhm.
right? And outside of that, we didn't see a lot of skilled Jedi. We saw the back of the head of a skilled Jedi at the end of the episode,
Mhm.
but you know, like I don't think that like we're getting a full group of the Jedi, which is exactly why they which I don't have an issue with them, kind of doing this, right?
Yeah.
Like I have no issue with them killing off Jedi like this because again, when your weapon is the Force to some extent, or when you're not really into the whole fighting thing, I understand again why there are these moments where like Master Soul, for example, has these lapses in judgment, right?
Mhm.
We see his, even his ability just to be a Jedi is terrible at times, right?
Mhm.
As skilled as he is at when he needs to be, he has some terrible instincts.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was
Yeah.
a lot of what I want to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else did you kind of see from that episode?
The first one, because we've been jumping around.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I don't think there's much of a order anymore.
Okay. Well. Um. What's there to talk about? It was so crazy.
Okay, let's talk about Yoda.
Yes. Hello. I predicted this. It wasn't
You
much of
did
a
predict this.
cameo. It wasn't much of a cameo, but it was still there.
I don't know. I think the back of the head is a pretty good cameo.
Yeah.
Yoda appears.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like that was fun. I mean, again, and I mean, look, we all knew from the second that she like walked, like before we even knew who it was. I think we all knew it was gonna be Yoda.
Yeah. Yeah. Even before I saw the ears, I was like, I know who we're going to see right now.
Yeah, I remember I said this out loud while watching. I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be Yoda.
Yeah. So did I. So did I.
Yeah, I mean, look, we knew it was coming. I think we both kind of agreed on that one. I think that was something we both agreed on in terms of like, I didn't know how we were gonna see him. I think
Mhm.
they did it really well, by the way. I think it didn't seem too forced. It seemed very natural,
Yeah.
right? Because Yoda hadn't made an appearance, and we assumed he would, because again, he's a pretty damn important Jedi to not have make a single appearance, right? None of
Yeah.
the High Council did.
Yeah. Which makes
Now
sense
the
because we're trying to hide it from them.
Well, right. Well, that's why it made sense, right? But
Yeah.
eventually, it had to come out. Now, what I
Yeah.
will say is this: I love the role the Senate plays right now.
Yeah, that is cool.
Because this is the thing, and I want you to think about this. I want everyone to think about this for a second, okay? The Senate, when we see them with Palpatine, for the most part, Valorum was there for a little bit in the first one, but Palpatine pretty much is in charge of the Senate the entire time. We see him as a functional body of governance, right? Pre the Empire. And then
Mhm.
after that, obviously, is Leia, and it's a whole different world or
Mhm.
galaxy.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I want you to think about this. If in our world today, there were a bunch of these magical people who showed up, every government would be suspicious of them.
Yeah.
Obviously, right? Every
Yeah.
government would want to control them. And at this point, you don't have, at least from our knowledge, for example, a young senator like Palpatine who's just been manipulating everyone and kind of being pro Jedi only because it's useful to him, right?
Yeah.
These are just real people. Like these are true, real people who are some of whom are probably very, very suspicious of these Jedi, right?
Mhm.
Who do
Mhm.
these kind of things on their own. Obviously, like, again, it's not a weird thing that they would want these reviews and they would kind of feel like, wait, I don't what we don't want what happens. And again, maybe this is like genius insight from them, but like what happens, okay, hear me out here. If one of these very powerful people turn evil and start killing us, or even worse, start controlling us. What are we gonna do? It'll become an empire, an evil empire. They could have an evil empire. We could do nothing to stop them.
Mhm.
They could kill all of you. And I don't know. That seems like some great foresight because I don't know, some very powerful Jedi being evil and then creating an empire.
Yeah.
That couldn't happen in Star Wars, right?
No way.
Never. Yeah. So anyway, but I think that's very important because I think again, that is something where any normal Senate, right, in terms of like what you'd expect it to be, would think, right? What
Yeah.
if one of these people who are so much more powerful than us become evil? What do we do,
Yeah.
right? And it's a good point. It's like we should control these people because if they become evil, we should at least be able to have some level of knowledge of that. Because if you have some evil person just running around and we don't even know about it, then that could lead to other problems, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I don't know.
What?
We've said the name of the main character. I said May's name once, but we haven't said the name of the real main character at all. I think in this episode,
Oh, really?
maybe mentioned her like in passing, but there is a main character who does a lot of things, including inventing the force choke.
Right.
I feel like that's
OSHA.
something we really should mention. OSHA,
Yeah.
yeah.
And bleeding the kyber crystal too.
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll talk about that one in a minute. But let's talk about force choke first. So we see her give into her anger. We see her become, and another small thing I was right about, was she did lead into her anger, and we did see her kind of become stronger when she led into her anger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she invented the force choke, which is how you kill a Jedi without using a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think that she was gonna invent the force choke. I thought she was gonna invent the force lightning. That was my guess. But she invented the force choke. So what did you think about that?
It was like, I know we've seen force choke so many times before, but like
It was brutal.
the way they shot this felt very up close and personal, and there was no like holding back from it in like, I feel like we see it happen, but like it can be easily like, yeah, that's just a force choke, but this felt very up close and personal and uncomfortable to sit with, and I think that was the point, and I think that was a good thing
Yeah.
that they did it that way. Like I felt uncomfortable, and I think that's a good thing.
No, but that's exactly right, because I think when you're doing something which and again in the perspective of the show is never been done before, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
not, at least, because again, we don't know when the force choke came out. I don't know if there's any evidence that it came out that much before this. Again,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, could it have been done before? Sure. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's been a highly transferable skill, right? Like, even if people like, I'm not like, and again, I want to be very clear. I'm not saying she invented it necessarily in terms of like anyone that ever used the force, because again, what we talk about and what we talked about before with the Jedi is and the mind wiping is you can use the force in different ways, where there could be things that go on in one part of the galaxy which are completely lost in another part of the galaxy,
Yeah.
right? And so we see this, and I think it's very important to remember that, you know she could have quote unquote invented this thing that none of them had ever seen before, but had still been used at some point in the history, right? Like when there were like a whole bunch of Sith and whatever, right? A
Mm-hmm.
millennia ago, or half a millennia ago, right? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, things could die out and come back, and then obviously we see Dooku master it later on, and I'm pretty sure Sidious probably could do it too, and Vader does it obviously iconically. And again, I would actually argue, if we want to rank force chokes, I would actually argue um that the force choke that OSHA does is probably equivalent to that of Vader in A New Hope against Tarkin.
It's been a while since I've seen A New Hope, so I can't comment. But
I will say, I think those are very, very close in terms of like just feeling very, very uncomfortable with it, right?
mm-hmm.
Because I think, again, that was literally a new thing, and now they're making it seem like a new thing. And again, I think that makes it so much better,
Yeah.
because again, like, I think the two most effective force chokes in storytelling are Tarkin and Soul, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I thought it was, again, I agree with everything you said in terms of how it was shot, and I think it was just, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Now, do we feel bad for any of the witches?
I mean, I think they should be afforded some level of empathy. They were trying to defend their home and their children.
But they're also bad.
Yeah.
They're also very powerful and probably should not be allowed to live.
Yeah, but the Jedi should have left them alone.
True. I also think the Jedi had because, like, this is the thing. I don't believe they would have not done something aggressive. or tried to move against the Jedi. They clearly did not like the Jedi.
No.
I think at some point they would have tried to do something. I don't know what their master plan was. I don't think it was good. I don't know if you agree with that, but
I don't know. I haven't really thought too deeply about what they were planning, because they're, off the board.
well, no, not all of them. Most of them.
Well, yeah.
Also, can we talk? The other thing I want to talk about is like, and I feel like we sometimes don't think about this, right? I don't think we truly appreciate how powerful they are. Because I know we dug, yeah, the one of them created life with the Force, cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I think was the most impressive thing that they did? And
What?
again, because of how hard it is to even do this on a small scale, I think this is incredibly impressive that they did it on such a big scale. They turned a Wookiee Jedi, literally bent the Wookiee Jedi to their will. And again, I just want to make something very clear. If you go through the history of Star Wars, there's two very hard things to do. Wookiees just generally are very hard to mind trick, right? Just mind trick, not even control, mind trick.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's A. B is Jedi are very hard, again, to mind trick, especially trained Jedi,
Yeah.
right? Again, not mind control, just trick, right?
Yeah.
Just do like the very basic, you there's some species which we know are a little bit stronger minded. I guess Wookiees are one of those. Whatever species Watto was is another one of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we see that happen. And then Jedi again are another group which is very hard to mind trick. You know what they did? And I know all of them did it. Where it took all of them to do it. They literally turned a Wookiee Jedi into their own personal killing machine.
Yeah.
They had full control over him.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And
like, is that not crazy to you?
It was really cool.
It was, and again, like it's so. That was another, by the way, great fight scene.
Yeah.
But like that is so hard to do, and I think that shows how powerful these people are.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it's kind of impressive that they were able to like literally pull out their control. Like that seemed very hard to do, but good on them. Good on them for doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Indara's strong. I think Indara was stronger than we thought because of what she did.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little bit like I was impressed. That was a very impressive scene, just how they handled that. That's one of the other amazing parts of the show, right? It's like they just handle some of these things, which, again, we've seen Star Wars, as much as I like Star Wars, we've seen some of the Star Wars recently mishandle some of these very basic things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think by and large, and we'll kind of get into bigger picture stuff in a minute, but by and large, I think the show did a great job kind of keeping everything within, I'm not canon necessarily. I know they made a few quote unquote mistakes. They did a good job, kind of making everything seem, important and unique, right? And not rehashed. Like this felt like a different show than I think we've seen from any other Star Wars thing, potentially like ever in this Disney Star Wars era.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it felt like a new universe. It didn't feel like a rehash. Like, with Obi-Wan and look, I like Ahsoka. Again, it all feels like rehashes of the same kind of thing, same story line-ish like concepts, right? Obviously with Solo, Rogue One, we saw that. Obviously with the sequels, we saw that. Like again, it's all within the same little like thing. I thought they did something which I didn't think the Star Wars could do anymore. And that was just come up with this entirely new set of ideas, right? You had new characters, you had new, plot points, new creative ways. Again, people complain about this, new creative ways to use the Force. I thought new characters, like new different species. Like again, I thought that was incredible. Again, that was something that blew my mind because I didn't think Star Wars was capable of that anymore. It turns out they are. And now the expectation granted is very, very high for everything else Star Wars going forward because now we know, you can come up with new cool characters. You come up with new cool Sith or bad Jedi, right? Like we saw another cool bad Jedi. I didn't think we'd get that, right? Like Kylo Ren is kind of like mid, and like when it comes to being a a good bad guy, we got another good bad guy to put up in
Yeah.
the hall of that. And again, I really think that this puts the expectations for Star Wars up significantly now. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other big takeaways? Anything else? Oh yeah, let's talk about the lightsaber. Sorry, I'm just gonna jump back to that before I forget.
What
Osha
about?
literally turned a lightsaber red.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was sick. That was.
She literally corrupted like, and we talked about this, right? I think we talked about this last time. It's like, you know, we're gonna see people kind of corrupt lightsabers. Like I think we kind of talked about this. I don't remember in what context, but man, she literally corrupted that lightsaber, and it was awesome.
Yeah. While she was choking him.
It was like, honestly, I think that might be one of the coolest moments in Star Wars.
Yeah,
Like
it was
that's
really
a
cool.
pantheon moment,
Yeah.
and that made the Force choke even better. By the way, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that is the pantheon moment. That is a moment which you just see the crystal like crack open and turn red. Oh man.
Yeah.
And again, that's what a red lightsaber is. Like I think people forget the origins of what red lightsabers are, right? They're corrupted crystals.
Mhm.
Which is why you could argue someone like a Grievous never had a red lightsaber, right? Because Grievous couldn't use the Force because Grievous was a robot.
Yeah.
Now Grievous as a human, before he became a robot, could have probably used the Force,
Yeah.
but was not evil.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm surprised we've never seen that happen before. Like that's kind of surprising to me too,
I know.
because you've seen some people become corrupt, and I'm surprised that it's never happened.
Yeah.
That would be a cool thing to see if it happened to Dooku or Vader. Man, imagine Vader's lightsaber turning red.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about that?
No, not really. Just cool.
So let's talk about what's next for the show, and then we'll talk some bigger picture takeaways. We'll do the MVPs and all that other stuff, and then we'll get out of here.
Right.
So what was the first? I said bigger picture, or what's next, right?
Yeah.
So we need a season 2. You agree, right?
Obviously, yeah. If that's not happening, you can just shoot me in the foot because, like, it needs to
they'll
happen.
continue it. So how would you want what would you want season 2 to focus? Like, how would you want them to go about it? I guess just generally, like, what are the kind of things you want them to touch on? Answer what questions do you want them to answer?
I think that, ending season 1 with the Jedi under threat of Senate review, like, I think we're gonna see the Senate become more involved with the Jedi affairs in a way that it hasn't been in the High Republic era. So I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah, I want to see this because I want to see the Palpatinization of the Senate, right?
Yeah.
In terms of, like, because Palpatine can't just come in there and basically take over the Senate without there being a little bit of, like, again, this quote unquote fascist push by the Senate. Because again, if anyone doesn't know this, the whole original trilogy is based on Hitler and the Nazis. So, there is that is the end goal with Jedi, right? At least with the original trilogy. So I kind of want to see the start of that, right? Because that doesn't just happen. And I think Clone Wars fleshed out a lot of, like, the middle part. But like, again, every, like, if you look at it in a real life perspective, right? Like, there's seeds that lead up to that, right? Trying to control these things, trying to militarize, right? Like, these are the things, feeling scared of the other and trying to prepare for that, right? These are all the things that led to Palpatine being able to control the Senate like he did, because they were frightened, right? And I think seeing some of that stuff early actually does do a great deal to kind of set it up. So I agree with you completely. That was the more of that long tirade.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else?
Osha becoming more evil.
Agreed. I think we need to see her, just because, like, again, and it's weird because you wouldn't think she would be more powerful than her sister, because her sister actually got the mark, the evil mark.
Yeah.
But I think that I just think that, like, we need to see her kind of just take it up a level. I do think she'll eventually get Force Lightning.
Mhm.
Um, and I am very excited to kind of see like what other skills she develops.
Yeah. And I also just want to know where her trajectory is going from here. Now that her memory's been wiped.
Yeah, that's another very good point because like I did obviously I don't think either of us saw the May's memory getting wiped thing coming, but I want to see more than anything. I want to see how they can function as two people,
Yeah.
like or as one person that are two people, right? Like
Yeah.
I want to know like because we saw so the thing I hearken in a little to is like we saw this with Kylo and Rey a little bit, right? Where they kind of were able to like get into each other's brains.
Mhm.
I wonder if we're gonna see some of that kind of stuff with Osha and May because they again are gonna kind of be like touching each other's brains because they're the same person. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
And I because I do think May is going. They're gonna train May a little bit as a Jedi because she does have the Force anyways, and she's been training anyways.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna try to use her, but like not directly because she doesn't know
Yeah.
anything, but
Yeah.
more they're going to try to rebuild her so she can kind of be an asset to them because again the Jedi are this cynical group. The other sorry just last thing and I'll let you go add another thing, but I think the Senate is actually going to try to use May a little bit as well because I think they're going to see her as like I guess the best way to say it is like what Anakin was to Palpatine, right? I think they're going to try to use her as their own like little project. I think they're
Mhm.
going to because she again in my mind she's still immature because she kind of has like she's kind of like mentally where she was at 8 years old, still a little traumatized and all that other stuff. I
Yeah.
think the Senate's going to try to use her as well. And I think we're going to see a little bit of push and pull because I think she's going to be seen as an asset
Yeah.
because she's not like indoctrinated, so to speak.
Yeah.
What else?
I don't know what else.
I want to see the High Council really get involved, right? Like I want to see them really start pushing back because we didn't see a lot of that obviously. I want to see some of like their deliberations on things like the Senate getting involved, right? How are they going to deal with that? I want to
Mhm.
see a little bit more about their deliberations with how do we deal with the fact that there could very well be an evil person, not necessarily a Sith, but an evil person. I
Yeah.
also, by the way, just to shut internet people up, I want to see them kind of explain who these people are and why they're not Sith. Because I don't think they're Sith. I think, you can argue they're witches. I think you can argue they're a lot of things. I don't think they're Sith. I think we need to make that distinction very clear.
Yeah.
Um, but I do want to see the High Council kind of get involved and say, hey, this is a problem. We need to stop this. And we
Yeah.
got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So label them properly, figure out how to fix it. And again, I think this is something where that we need to see kind of more of the High Council. This can't be just some independent, like, squad kind of trying to do something here. There
Mhm.
needs to be more substantial things to it.
Mhm.
And then we need to see a fight where the whip is used.
Yeah. Because we only saw it like a little bit,
We only
and
saw
that
it to
was just
kill
like a
a
team.
bird.
Yeah.
We need to see her and him fight. I thought we were gonna
Fighting.
get in this
Yeah.
episode. We didn't get it. I need to see them fight.
Yeah.
I need to see the whip, and I want to see the backstory on how she whipped him and he
Yeah.
got scarred.
Yeah.
Also, I want Ocha to have a new lightsaber when she comes back.
That'd be cool.
I need her to have a double bladed lightsaber
Mm,
and a helmet of some sort.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, and now let's talk about the show's the bigger picture show. So you have obviously, much like me, have seen every Star Wars show that has come out.
Yeah.
Now, we did this with the Bad Batch. We're gonna do this again here. How does this rank compared to everything else? Is this like in the top the area? Is this toward the bottom? Is it in the middle?
Um, I haven't thought about it much as the bigger picture. I don't know if I have like a clear answer to this right now.
Well, I'll tell you what
What
I
do you
think.
think? Yeah, please tell me what you
I
think.
think this is probably, and I will have to think this a little more. I think this might be the best thing they've released on Disney Plus for Star Wars live action. I
Cool.
mean, not if we don't count animated, because I think Clone Wars is still better. But
I think it's unfair to compare live action and animated
yeah,
because they're totally different.
I think this is the best live action thing they've released on Disney Plus. I think this is, and again, as someone who, as I've probably mentioned a million times in here, loves Ahsoka, loves Thrawn more than anything, I will tell you this. I think this is hands down better than Ahsoka. I think it's better than Obi-Wan. I think this is better than Andor. Yes, I said that. I think this is better than all. The only thing I would maybe put up to this in, like, maybe is season 1 of The Mandalorian, because that is something which I still think is highly underrated just in terms of how great it was. I think that I think this is either the best or the second best thing we've gotten from Star Wars Disney on Disney Plus TV show wise, not live action.
Cool.
I think it was really that good. And again, I don't like, outside of like the main character being black, I don't really understand why people are complaining about this show. Like, it didn't feel like there's any quote unquote forced diversity or whatever the hell people are complaining about nowadays. I don't think the plot was stale. Like, I thought it was actually really interesting to the point where I was very invested in the show on a week in, week and week out basis. Unlike I've been pretty much for any Star Wars thing, to be honest. Like, I think I was probably more invested in watching this show than I was in any other live action Star Wars thing on a week in, week out basis. Maybe Ahsoka's the only one because I just love the character, but I think I was probably, because there's so many unknowns here. There was so little we knew about how things were going to go. I would think I was more invested in the show. I was more excited for every episode of the show that I've been in a long time.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if you have any thoughts now. They've heard my ramblings, but
no, I'm gonna need some time to like sort out my feelings.
It was like a big show, big ending.
Yeah.
Okay, now, do you want to do MVPs? We'll do the one for the first episode first, and then
Sure.
we'll do the one for the second episode.
Yeah, sure. Are we doing first episode?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. My MVP is Indira because
Why?
she was doing the right thing, even if it wasn't always like, like deciding not to tell the council, questionable choice, but she explained the reasoning behind it, and like I have to respect that. And she also like totally fucking like pulled that spell out of Kalnaka's head, like, and like killed all of those witches like it was nothing. So I like just she's really cool.
Indira. Okay, who's? Oh yeah, I'll go with mine actually. So mine. You took mine.
Oh, no.
It's okay. It's okay. You know what? I'm gonna go with. I'm going with the Wookiee, man. Come on, gotta go with the Wookiee.
Cool. Yeah, that's valid.
You know what? That fight scene alone. Yeah. Like, I want to see a Wookiee Jedi fight. That was good enough for me. You know what?
Yeah.
Okay, what about episode 8?
Do
you have one?
It's complicated because like I'm just like, because May and Osha both really.
They're one person technically.
Yeah, so like.
We can't choose both.
I know. I'm gonna choose Osha then.
No, damn
it. Shit.
No, that's fine. You can choose that.
I think it's obvious why. Yeah. But yeah, and also just like shout out to Amanda Denver for their acting for this whole show, but specifically this episode. Like, they had me feeling some sort of way, like a lot. So just shout out to their performance to both May and Osha because they are doing splendid.
You know what? Screw it. I'm breaking the rule. I don't care. I'm going OSHA as well.
You can break the rules, that's fine.
Yeah, I made the rules. I can break them. Who cares? I'm gonna go with OSHA. OSHA was unbelievable. That was OSHA's episode, man. If I was on, if I thought May was cooler, that changed that episode, and I thought
Yeah.
May was cooler.
Yeah.
So now, if you can stall by telling me, I don't know, just talk about the show still. I'm just gonna do a quick count to make sure I'm right, and then we're gonna see who had the most MVPs throughout the show because I wrote them all down now.
Okay.
So tell me what you thought about, I don't know, some part of the show we haven't talked about yet.
Okay, what haven't we talked about? Vernestra totally girl bossing and covering up the whole thing. Wow, that was crazy.
Why
and
did she do that?
To save, I think to save her own skin, because like if she didn't cover it up with Soul and admit that there was a bigger problem and there actually is another Sith on the loose, that's also someone she trained in the past, and like then she would have to talk about that, and I am assuming that she kept that a secret too. So
Were you thinking that she kept her Padawan a secret?
not that like not that, but like I think that like maybe she had an inkling that that Padawan was going to turn out dark, and like she kept that a secret.
Like maybe she kept secret what she did to him.
Yeah. Like maybe she tried to kill him like the way we saw Luke do with Ben
Kylo?
Solo. Yeah. And like she didn't want to tell the council about that. I don't know.
Interesting. Do you think she could tell Yoda? Or do you think Yoda already knows?
I mean, he knows a lot. But I think they've gone to like tell him in that last shot.
But do you think do you think she's gonna try to hide things from him?
No, I think that if there is one Jedi she's going to go to with the whole truth is Yoda.
Well, because it's hard to lie to Yoda.
Oh.
Yeah, Yoda's very smart.
Yeah. So yeah, that's yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for stalling. That was helpful. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Weirdly, or not weirdly, OSHA number 1. 4 MVP votes between the two of us throughout the show.
Wow.
Yeah. Episode 1 and 8 for you. Episodes 6 and 8 for me.
Congratulations, Osha.
So now guess who number 2 was. I don't think you'll guess this.
I don't know.
Guess.
Was it Soul?
Nope.
Who was it?
Jackie.
Jackie. Oh.
3 for Jackie.
Yay. I love Jackie.
By the way, 2 of those were yours on episodes 4 and 5, both of which you picked Jackie.
Wow.
And then for me, it was also episode 5. Again, another point where I broke the rule, I guess, and I just chose the same person you did.
Wow. Congratulations, Jackie.
The next, so third place is tied. Can you guess who tied?
No, I don't know. I genuinely don't remember.
I'm not going to tell you. You have to guess.
Is it the Sith Lord? Is it Chimera?
Yep. And who else?
Shit, who else have we talked about?
His OG apprentice.
His OG.
May.
Yeah,
May and Queemir tied for third. And then Soul, Yor, and their real mother tied for fourth.
Wow.
Vernestra getting 0. of the votes. No MVPs.
Well,
Kind of surprising.
yeah,
Not gonna
but
lie.
maybe next season.
Next season, probably for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see her more.
Another person who just who only got one was Indira. Oh, and you would have thought she would have gotten more. I don't know. I feel like I would have thought she got more.
Well, I mean, we did see her die in the first episode, and then we didn't see her for a while.
I mean, she had some moments where she came back, but yeah. That was that. Yeah, I mean, look, and obviously Mother Coral got nothing, so
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And Kelnaka got one, of course.
Yep.
And yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much. I think every major character got at least one outside of those few. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anyone who was forgotten about. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
But yeah, with that being said, that's it for this episode. We talked for an hour, which is good.
Yep.
When there's more Star Wars stuff, we will be back. I will be back with a special podcast episode, probably this weekend, maybe next weekend, with someone who respectfully disagrees with me, and anyone else who wants to argue with me about the show, please, again, send a DM to @comicboys_, and I will have you on the show immediately, basically, and I will fight with you and beat you. And we will have everyone be able to watch it, so you can call me mean names, but you have to do it with your face and your mouth instead of your hands. And with that being said, thank you all for watching. As always, it's been a marathon of Star Wars stuff for the last, a number of weeks, because we got the Bad Batch, then we got the Tales of the Empire. Now we have this.
Yeah.
So, been a lot of stuff, but we'll get a little bit of a break now from constant Star Wars, and then I'm sure that'll all come back. I don't know when, but soon.
Soon.
Yeah. I don't actually know what the next Star Wars thing is.
No, we don't know.
My hunch is it's going to be. I actually don't. I guess it's going to be like that show. The one with the people.
Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's about.
No clue either. Let me look it up. Let's see if the internet has an answer.
Yeah, I don't even know if I care right now, but I'm sure I will when it
You will care.
We just haven't heard anything about it, so we don't know.
Yeah, so Skeleton Crew is next. Oh, and then the Young Jedi Show season 2. I'm not gonna watch that. I don't know what to talk about that one.
Yeah, I don't think we need to talk about. Let's leave that to the kids.
Yeah. So yeah, it's still saying Skeleton Crew is 2024. So probably if it comes out, it'll come out in the fall.
Yeah.
Andor season 2, either late 2024 or early 2025. Ahsoka season, and then we don't know everything else. So Andor season 2 and Skeleton Crew are probably the next two up. And then obviously there's another season of The Mandalorian at some point.
Yeah.
Another season of Ahsoka. A few movies potentially in the works.
Yeah.
Well, we know the
a new animated project has been confirmed, not announced. We don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's gonna be the Ventress one.
Yeah.
There's a few other untitled Star Wars movies. There's also that big conclusion in the Mando movie. There's also the new Jedi Order movie. Rogue Squadron, I think, might still be alive. I'm not 100% sure about that one. And I mean, I guess the Book of Boba Fett could get a season 2.
Yeah, we still could hear.
They also announced a Lando movie. We think Rangers of the New Republic is canceled because of Gina's less than ideal ability to not say terrible things on the internet.
And she's coming here.
Yeah. Cara Dune, such a great character until the actor said some evil things on the internet.
Yeah. Don't be stupid. Think before you post. Which, is a lesson to the people in our comment section, apparently.
Well, no. By the way, keep up the mean comments. I love them. So yeah. Oh yeah, then Ryan Johnson technically was given a new Star Wars trilogy. I don't know if that's happening. That was like years ago, but you know.
Guess we'll find
With that
out.
being said, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to say mean things in the comments about my opinion, and also send me a DM, and you know we can get you on the show if you want to say those things in person. And um, make sure you dislike the video. Make sure you angrily subscribe and hate watch the rest of my stuff. Yeah, if you're listening to some podcast apps, then go to the YouTube page by typing in, I don't know, type in something or go to the description, click on the link. You know, use technology better than I do, probably because you're able to listen to this on a podcast app. So, anyways, with that being said, I'm gonna stop rambling and let everyone enjoy their evening and or morning, I guess, if you're listening in the morning. And yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, bye.